All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Miguel, and I'm an alcoholic. It's there's a lot going on up here with Zoom and everything. Everybody on Zoom. Hello. Also with the mic and stuff like that. I'm glad I had a little bit of experience the last couple of years. 4 years ago, I was the audiovisual chair for Area 5, so I got a little bit used to dealing with the boom mic here, the boom stand, so we're good to go. That doesn't make me nervous at all. So, yeah, absolutely. So I'm super glad to be here. Thank you very much, Louis, for asking me to come over. I really do appreciate it. If something else is going on and I really can't do it, I will not turn down an AA request. Especially it is when somebody asks me to share my experience, strength, and hope. That's one of the most valuable things that I can do here in Alcoholics Anonymous. One of the most valuable things I can do here in Alcoholics Anonymous. And second is to visit a group like yours. I mean, in my personal opinion, you have a good group on your hands when you have a timer and you have some good ass coffee, right? The kind of coffee that you drink it and it kind of turns your stomach a little bit. You start getting the gurgles. That's some good stuff right there. But those are two qualifiers. But the last one is if you got a name like Sicker Than Most, it just sparks that interest. Like, you got to get over there, man. So thanks for having me. And like I said, I'm grateful to be here. I've heard it in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous before. I could have missed it all. My sobriety date is October 22nd, 2010. I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, hopeless, helpless, not really knowing what the hell I was doing here, knowing that I didn't want to be here. As a matter of fact, I was really hoping that whatever you guys were doing wasn't going to affect me in any kind of way, that it wasn't going to work for me, because if it doesn't work for me, then I could just go out there living the way I was living. I had gotten used to that lifestyle. 6 months before I got into Alcoholics Anonymous, I found myself really in the worst position of my life. I didn't know that at the time, but I really did. I was in a relationship that I was hanging by a thread. I was living in a home that was filthy, that had kids living in it. I was filthy. I got used to not taking a shower and all that stuff. And just waiting for the day that something was going to go wrong, And it started to happen. The three girls that were in that home, one of them was my daughter, got taken away by DCFS, and the other two girls went as well. Not too long after that, my girlfriend and I were bouncing around, rarely over here, but at times, yes, more towards Azusa, La Puente, that side of the 605. And we ended up in Glendora, and I had a 1989 Cadillac Eldorado or something like that. And that was on his last leg right there. It had been broken down. So we were stuck. My girlfriend and I were just stuck right there. And not knowing what we were going to do, I had a little bit of marijuana. I was smoking on that, just trying to relieve the pressure and the stress. And somehow she leaned over to kiss me, and I kind of brushed her off. And she grabbed my pipe, and then she threw it out of the car. And I was like, that's not happening to me. So I get out of the car, come around to the other side, grab her purse, and I said, well, you threw my stuff out, I'm going to grab your stuff and throw it out. So I ripped it from her, and I threw it outside. And, the next half an hour, was gonna say it all. The same thing that had happened for years and years and years. You know, cops were called, and the best thing that I could do at that point in time was what any sane alcoholic would do was run. So I did. I never ran before, but I did this time, and I had managed to hop a wall and just hide. And to make a long story short, I got caught one more time, taken to the Glendora police station, where I had been there before. This one felt a little different. Right there, I found myself praying to a God that I had prayed to tons of times before, saying the same thing. Help me, get me out of this. But this time I said, help me. I can't do it anymore. I really can't. And 45 days in the county jail. That's what I was sentenced to by the judge. And, I wasn't new to the Los Angeles County Jail. I'd been there many a times before. But this one was going to be different. And one of the times I was going back and forth from county jail to the Citrus Courts in West Covina, it just happened to be that, and by the way, I don't know if you've ever been to jail, but there's guys in there that are really, really into service. They will run to your raid, ask you, well, what's going on with your case, and give you some jailhouse advice, jailhouse lawyer advice, right? And one of the guys was in there, and he was like, I told him, you know what? The judge told me this. He said, look, you're either going to go to jail or you're going to go get some help. And to me, I'm sorry, you're either going to prison or you're getting some help. And for me, prison, I'll stay away from that, right? That kind of scared me a little bit. And so I went for the help, right? So I told this guy, another fellow inmate, what was happening. And he said, well, you know what? Why don't you try this place? It's in Covina. If you go over there, the manager's an asshole, but, it's somewhere you can go. I'm like, all right, no problem, So I get back to the Los Angeles County Jail, and I call my sister and I tell her, hey, you know what? Check out this place. It's in Covina. It might work for me. All I want to do is just get out. I just want to get out and do what I feel I got to do. And this place is not one of them, right? But anytime you're in there, your back is up against the wall. You're trying to do whatever, however, to do what you got to do. And so I did. I got let out 45 days later. And by the way, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but this is my first time ever experiencing this when I got out that last time. They said they were going to come pick me up. And I was like, yeah, right. I mean, when I get out of jail, every time I get out of jail, it's at different times. There's no way to tell if they're going to let me out at a certain time. So it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible, right? So just before I get out, I was like, I already know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go call a couple of people, probably hit the liquor store, and do what I got to do, right? And so I walk out with a big old smile on my face. I see my sister and the guy from the sober living standing right there waiting for me. I'm like, oh shit, it's over. So I go to the sober living, demoralized, sick to my stomach, right? And it even got worse for me when they told me I need to attend 2 or 3 meetings a day if I wasn't working. Meetings? What are you talking about? This is not part of the deal. AA meetings? What? Are you kidding me? AA? I don't even have a problem like that. So that pissed me off even more. Now I have to follow some rules and some guidance and an Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm like, oh brother, here we go. And so I went what else could I do? I was more hopeless, helpless, desperate, in fear. I had nowhere else to go, you know. I had been to Alcoholics Anonymous before, but it just wasn't for me. You guys were saying some good stories, but it just wasn't hitting. You know, it just wasn't for me. But this time just seemed to be different. I heard what I had to hear. I heard enough to where I stayed. I worked steps within my first 90 days. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into years. And it wasn't the easiest thing ever. You know, before my first year, I was so uncomfortable. I really wanted to get out of there. I had done my steps, but I just didn't want to be there, you know. And after that 1 year, I started getting used to stuff. You know, I had pretty much taken care of all the commitments that my home group had to offer at the 615 Attitude Adjustment meeting, from coffee maker to treasurer to secretary. And there was one commitment that I hadn't done. And there was a general service representative in that meeting. And she was like, you know what? I can't be the general service representative anymore. I've had it, right? And I was like, what? What is this general service representative meeting? And so my buddy, who is now passed, John, he had said, he had caught on. He was very he really observant, and he really paid attention to stuff. One time he caught me saying to my group, my home group, I love you guys so much, I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you all. Yeah, worse than the court reporters. And so he's like, you're it. And he pointed right at me. And with a blank stare, I said, yep. And so I did it. And I got into general service as a general service representative for the Attitude Adjustment meeting in Covina. And it was an experience, you know. But he had also told me that he had described general service, what it meant to him, and it was, for me, it was just so, what's the word? I will never forget how he described it. And he said, when I first got to Alcoholics Anonymous, it was this big, like a pin drop. But when I got here to general service, it became this big. And so my little group, I found out, was just one part in a huge worldwide movement that we call Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've been doing it ever since. I mentioned to you guys that my last commitment was a general audiovisual chair in Area 5. I just most recently, well, my term's almost up, but this 2-year commitment is the Area 5 registrar. So at some point in time, like I've seen this meeting before, either registering your general service representative. I don't know if you're here, Patrick. Patrick's right there. Oh, okay. So I love the name. Sicker than most, right? And it's even more exciting when I get to visit a group that I've only seen on paper, right? It just puts life and breath. And I'm so grateful that the same things that you guys have been doing, that you guys have passed on to other members of Alcoholics Anonymous, new guys like Craig, right, was given to me, right? And I can also in turn serve others. This is not a coffee commitment, 30, 60, 90 people. This is a commitment that serves well over 1,500 meetings, groups in the Los Angeles area alone, right? And so I see it as I've got involved in general service, my reach and service is just like John said, opened up. And it's brought a level of spirituality in my life that I would not trade away for anything. The first drink, no way. But second drink, maybe. Right? I'm sure anybody would if you had the session like I did. So my time is just about up. 15 minutes, a little bit over than 15 minutes. So that's all I have, you guys. Thank you very much for letting me share. Appreciate it.